Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Saturday, April 30th, 2022, and I'm making another video. Before I do, I know I've already made 100 subscribers, but let's go ahead and check my TonyLiveTV account and see if I made more than 100 subscribers. And now I got 101 subscribers, so I got one more subscriber since Thursday. So that's what happened. Thursday morning, bright and early, when I woke up, as I was making coffee, right, I realized that I actually had like an alert, and this is what I found. It says, "Congrats, your channel just hit 100 subscribers." And then I got this when I logged in. I wanted to go ahead and take a picture of that. Yes, so we made 100 subscribers. I want to thank you guys. That was pretty important to me, and I would spend a lot of time looking at my Tony Tony channel. I can tell you that nothing happened. Nothing happened. Congrats. I go in there to get my custom URL. Still doesn't give me a custom URL, even though I have all the criteria. So, all right. So this video, I went ahead, going to keep track. We're going to be inspecting the pistons and the rod bearings. Like I said before, a lot of guys, they just kind of clean them up and put them back in, and if everything's cool, that's what we'll do. We'll see what happens in this, so let's talk bearings, right? That's what this is going to be kind of about, because, we don't have an engine failure or anything, but now that we cracked the engine open, we got to check our bearings, make sure our bearings are good. We're going to have to do the same thing, of course, with our main bearings, right? We kind of looked at them a little bit, but, we have to decide now with the crankshaft out, and, we're going to have to decide, do we have to grind the crankshaft? So there's a lot of stuff going on, right? You don't want to be buying bearings until you find out about the crankshaft, so I thought we'd start right here with the pistons. We're moving forward. That's right, we're moving forward, even though I don't have the head yet. Can you believe it? I still don't have my head. So I'm wasting a lot of time in the beginning of these videos telling you about all the stuff that's not happening. I hate to do that. But he assures me he'll have it ready. He was going to have it ready yesterday late, but I guess it didn't happen because he didn't give me a ring. So he says Monday morning. So keep your fingers crossed. That's what I'm doing, my toes, everything, because I want to get really rolling on this. But this one here, like I said, this is about the pistons and the rod bearings. Hey, if you like what I do, subscribe, click the bell, because I'm going to be starting this in here. We're going to assemble the whole thing. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell, because I'm going to go live when we start it. All right. Yes, we got helicoils and time certs, and what are we going to do? So there's a lot of stuff that's coming up, and we're going to be moving forward. So any products and services that I use, I always put links in the bottom. I bought them because I like them, not because someone sponsored me or gave me money or anything. Look, I just reached 100 subscribers. Think anybody's giving me any money? I don't think so. And not only that, I'm not going to use it unless I like it. I might try it, but this is what I'm using. So that's the way it is. So yes, sirree, Bob. Let's move forward and get this video out of the way. This is the #1 piston. And if you notice, it reads 633, and I'm guessing that's the grams. There's the #1. There's the arrow. I just want to show you that the mark is on that side. See how this has got a lip right here? You can see the offset. Do you notice that? See how that's made? This thicker side right here, see how it protrudes out in comparison to this side? And then the cap is the same way. This is where the bend is, that little hole on the left there. See how that's got a little roundness to it? So that's how that would go. I'm going to clean this up and mark it. I took 14 gauge wire, electrical wire that's found in your house. 14 gauge. I stripped it off. It's copper wire. You can use aluminum wire. You don't want to use, you know, picks and things like that, steel picks. So 14 gauge fits in here pretty nicely. 12 gauge is a little bit thick. So with the 12 gauge, can you see that? The 12 gauge, I kind of flattened it out so I could fit in between here, or the 12 gauge. The 14 gauge fits really nicely, and you can stick this in your groove and you can scrape it. No problem. Okay. The hardest one is this bottom ring because there's a spring that goes all the way around. Then you can get in here and you can scrape the inside of this. And because this is copper, it won't harm this at all. You know, this copper is softer than this material. And there's an oil galley. There's several of them. I think there's 4. And you can see right through here. You see that? So I want to make sure those galleys are clear. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so that's one thing I want to do. And then, of course, you want to scrape the edge on the inside of that all the way around, top and bottom. And the same thing with your compression rings, your first and secondary compression ring. All right, let's see if this will work. Do you see this that little divot right there? Right there? That is where the oil comes from the inside and coats this oil ring. And this is like a spring, so it has a lot of surface area to hold, you know, oil. And you can spin this thing around. You'll see there's another one right there. You just keep spinning it and spinning it and spinning it till you find the next one. Here it is, right there. Right, and you make sure that those are all clean. Works pretty good. You just slide that back and forth and clean out all your grooves. So now we have a really nice and clean. That's it. All right, so this is the number 1 piston completely cleaned up. And if any of the other ones look anything different, so that's on the cap side. And this is on the rod side. You can see it if I can hold it in the right spot, you can see it looks pretty good. And like that's nothing. See? I can wrap that up and I'll tape this up. And I'm just keeping them on the same side because these bearings are identical, both sides, as far as I can tell. I just want to keep them on the right side, and they've all have WD-40 on them. And if anything, as I go through each individual piston and everything after they're all clean now, I will, if I find anything that's different than something like this, then I'll bring it to our attention. Number 2, look great too. This is number 3. Number 3 has a line in it. See that line? All the way. See that? Right where the oil is. So some debris got in there, and unfortunately it didn't catch it, right? It grooved into it. And this is the side on the cap. So we know that it originated, you see it's hardly here. See those scratches? You can see that line right above those scratches. But why those scratches are that way, right? I think it can probably be reused, but I just want to make note of it. Like I said, it was the side that was next to the, on the rod side. See that? This is number 4 cap side. See those little scratches? Similar to the ones you saw on that other one. The rod side, it was just fine. Number 5 looked great. This is number 6. Now, do you see that line right there? Now that's exactly how these things are supposed to work. Right? Because the oil's kind of brought roughly there, and then it catches, and then it beds itself. See how it's stopped? That's exactly how these things are supposed to work. The other side, on the rod side, was fine. This is number 7. You can see number 7 has a line in it right there, right? From one end to the other. On the cap side, it looks just fine. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit of a line, right? But not really. All right, this is number 8, and there's a line in this one. See it? Can't get your finger on it, but that line also continues on the cap side. See it? So basically our rod bearings on number 1, they looked pretty good. Number 2 looked like they were brand new. Number 3 had this groove in it. So I think, you know, maybe once it's breached, it's breached. This is rod bearing still on number 3, but that's the other side of it that had those kind of scratches in addition to that ring that was across it. Rod bearing number 4 had similar kind of scratches on it. And this is on the cap side. Rod bearing number 6, you can see where it did its job, right? It caught the debris, it embedded it right in within itself and kept it from scratching the crank. Rod bearing number 7, it had a nice line on the one side. And rod bearing 8 also has a line in it. So I don't really know, you know, if you should reuse those. That's how I think about those bearings there. I'm going to probably order some bearings. Let me hear your thoughts about it. But I think that once something gets embedded in there, you know, you just have the opportunity of scratching the crankshaft because that thing's still embedded inside that bearing. That's the job of the bearing. As far as I'm concerned, they did their job, and now it's time to probably replace them. But hey, if you tell me different, but I'll probably still replace them. I don't want to spend the money, but that's how it is. So I think on the safe side, we go ahead and get some new connecting rod bearings. All right, guys, until the next one.